Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so today we're doing page 47 in the Safar book 7. And this is all about putting socks on. So, putting socks on after wudu. Now, the reason why one may do this is for a number of reasons. So, number one is obviously for ease. Okay, people obviously don't want to be able to have to take it off, and to be honest, that's the main reason. Yeah, it's kind of inconvenient for a lot of people to take their socks off. I mean, people still do practice this today because it's one of the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's not as prevalent today, this practice, because today water is so accessible compared to the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So obviously we don't need to really do this. We can just take our socks off, use as much water as we can, Alhamdulillah, from the tap, and in our wudu khanas in mosque. So we don't really have this issue, but it's good to know about it, because when you go to the subcontinental region, there will probably be more people who do follow this, and knowing the rules is always good. So let me explain the basic before I go through the text. So basically what this is about is, number one, do your wudu. So you have to do your wudu first, okay? So that includes without any socks. So this is without socks, okay? Without socks. So you do your wudu, and then after you do your wudu, you put your socks on. Now that you have your socks on, if you need to do wudu again, you don't need to take your socks off, you just wash the socks. So once you've done all of this, okay, if your wudu breaks, are you going to wash your feet? No, you're just going to wash your socks. Breaks, just wash your socks. Okay, this is obviously, like we said, why would you do this? For ease. Imagine, especially if someone is like traveling or goes around a lot. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, as it says in the middle of page 47, he used to wear something called khuffayn. Okay, he used to wear khuffayn. So khuffayn are just the socks which the Prophet ﷺ wore, and they were made from leather. Okay, so they're just basically leather socks. And so that's why you'll see a lot of men who are wearing kind of leather socks, and when I first saw it, I thought they were going for a kind of gothic look, which obviously is not correct there. It's part of the sunnah, yeah? So it's the sunnah. So just look out for that. If you see it, you know what that is. Now, when we say if your wudu breaks, okay, so the point we made here, where we said that if your wudu breaks, okay, then you don't need to wash your feet anymore. There's a time period, obviously. Very easy to remember. If you're not a traveller, so if you're not a traveller, you have to wonder, how long does this last? If you look at the bottom of page 47, it says it lasts 24 hours. And if you're a traveller, it lasts 72 hours. Okay? So 1 day for a non-traveller, 3 days for a traveller. Bear in mind, this time period, so 24 hours for not a traveller, and 72 hours for a traveller, starts when you break your wudu the first time. Okay? So it only starts after you break wudu. So just so you're not confused, this is what you do first. Okay, what we outlined here. Okay, you do your wudu without your socks on, then you put your socks on. Okay, and what happens is, when you break your wudu now, so let's imagine you've done your wudu without your socks, you put your socks on, you go around 3-4 hours praying your salah, praying Quran, and then you start bleeding. So your wudu is broken, isn't it? So we'll come to what you do when your wudu breaks, but your wudu is broken. So from that time, so let's go to time on actually, just to make it clear. Let's imagine 2 o'clock, socks on, and then at 4 o'clock, I bleed. So from which time, and I'm a non-traveller, okay? I'm a non-traveller. So which time does the 24 hours start from? 4 o'clock. Yeah? Because it's from when your wudu breaks. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. So what we'll do is we'll read through the page 47 together. Anything which I feel needs explaining, I'll explain inshallah. So we'll start from the top. So wiping over socks, masa. If a person performs a full wudu and wears socks, the next time they perform wudu, again they are allowed to wipe over their socks with wet hands, perform masa, instead of washing the feet. Yeah? So this is what we said. We said that you do your wudu with your socks on, you do your wudu without socks, then you put your socks on. Then when your wudu breaks, okay, so finally, do this yellow here. So finally when your wudu breaks, okay, you do wudu then with your socks on. Yeah? So let's imagine this is number 1 here. Okay? So number 2, so this is when you have your socks on. Yeah? So you do wudu. Okay, you do wudu, but you keep socks on. Just do masa. Okay? So in here, the example where I talked about the man bleeding. Yeah? So here, when you do wudu at 4 o'clock, you say because you bleed, do you need to take the socks off? No, you do not. Yeah? So here, no need to take socks off. Just do masa and you're on your way. Okay? Hope that makes sense. The basic conditions for socks on which you can wipe are as follows. So I'm reading from the book again, yeah? The socks should not be transparent and need to cover the feet up to including the ankles. That's obvious, so up to and including the ankles, because that's what you wash in a normal salah. So your socks should obviously be the same, because when you do wudu with your socks on, you need to make sure you're still washing the same amount. Number 2, they must be thick enough that water does not seep through when wiping over them. Yeah, this is obviously because your socks are now meant to be a replacement for your feet. Okay, and also the hikmah and the wisdom behind that would be as well, if water is able to seep through a sock, eventually it become damp. Yeah, so you need to make sure, and that's unclean. So you're meant to be performing wudu, which is actually meant to make you clean, but instead you're doing something which is unclean. Yeah, so make sure that they're also waterproof. Number 3, they must hold on to the feet without being tied. Yeah, so just must be not something natural. That's all it's trying to say. Number 4, they should be strong enough that you can walk for about 3 miles without the socks tearing. Yeah, basically it can't be something flimsy. Again, because the sock is meant to replace your foot of what you're washing, it must be something sturdy and strong. Carry on. For example, you can wear leather socks, or alternatively wear completely waterproof socks that are sold in some shops. The option of masa during wudu is only applicable to socks. You cannot wipe over scarves, caps, hats, or gloves. Yeah. So this does not apply. Okay, so if we just bring it back here. Yeah. So this does not apply to scarves. Yeah, hats, gloves. You can't do it for that. A glove cannot be a replacement for your hand, and a hat cannot be a replacement for your head. Okay, last bit now. So, basic rules for wiping on the socks. So we'll just read through this last bit. Perform a complete wudu before wearing the socks. We know that. If you wear the socks after only washing the feet, you need to ensure you complete the wudu. Yeah, so like we said, just to reiterate here, as you can see in this box, yeah. So we said, do your wudu without socks, then put your socks on. Yeah, so it's saying that, look, if you put your socks on, if you only wash your feet and put your socks on, that's not enough. Yeah, you have to do wudu first, completely. Yeah, to have wudu. Carrying on. If you are not a traveller, you can continuously wear and wipe over the socks for a period of 24 hours. A traveller can do this for a period of 72 hours. The time limit starts for wiping from when you first break your wudu after wearing the socks. We talked about that, yeah? 24 hours for a non-traveller, 72 hours for a traveller, only starts when you break your wudu. Okay, carrying on. When the time limit expires, okay, so the 24 hours of the 72 hours it's referring to here, the masa also expires. This means you need to remove the socks and wash your feet before you can wear them again. You do not need to perform a complete wudu. So what this is saying is, let's imagine I do wudu, okay, wash my feet, so I do wudu, including washing my feet, then I put the socks on, so now I've got my sock on, haven't I? Say I'm a non-traveller, and it carries on for 72 hours, so let's imagine I break my wudu, so time starts, and let's imagine this is 1 o'clock on a Monday. So if I'm a non-traveller, when will my time finish? If I started at 1 o'clock on a Monday, it's 24 hours, isn't it, for a non-traveller? So it's going to finish on 1 o'clock on Tuesday. So it's saying here that when you get to 1 o'clock on Tuesday, let's imagine you're there, and you still have wudu, so you've not broken your wudu. It's 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, and you've not broken your wudu, and you've still got it, then what it's saying is, if you have wudu, sorry, I don't mean that you've kept wudu from here. I'm just saying, let's imagine you're at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, and you still have wudu. That's all I'm saying, So you still have wudu. If you still have wudu, just wash the feet and put the socks on. And put socks on. Okay? That's all it's saying. That if you wash the feet and put your socks on, if you still have wudu. So it carries on in the texture. It says, every time you remove a sock, the Masa expires. So also just be aware of that. If you remove the Masa, remove a sock, the Masa expires, and it's like you're starting from again. Therefore, you need to wash both your feet before wearing the socks again. You will not need to perform a complete wudu if it is not broken. That's what we just said. You need to wash both feet. You are not allowed to wipe over socks if you need to perform a ghusl. So basically you can't wear the socks into a ghusl. For ghusl, you must take it off. So in the ghusl, no socks. Okay. And furthermore, you cannot wipe over a sock that has a tear the size of 3 of your smallest toes. So if you're just trying to estimate that, it's basically around what? Small toe is something like 5-6 centimeters long, something like that. 7. So you're looking at 20. So you're looking around approximately 20 to 30 centimeter gap. Anything like that in a sock, you can't use it. Okay, hope that makes sense. There was a lot to it, which is why I put this into one video. I apologise for it coming out late. I had some problems with my iPad and some technical issues. Inshallah, from now on, everything will be on time. So I just ask your forgiveness for that. I do apologise. But any questions, put it in the comments, and inshallah I'll try to respond to everything that I can. Right, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.